I've had this itch that I just cannot scratch, and it's to talk about the nonchalantness epidemic that has just been sprung across the youth and people of my like kind of age demographic. And it irks me because I think this whole nonchalant thing is really a plague to younger people, because emotions are like, you know, pretty real. They're pretty common. I don't think, well, maybe now people will dispute this, but like, you shouldn't hide your emotions. And I think that that's like on both sides of the spectrum, because I know like people will throughout history have been like, well, men don't cry, boys don't cry, you know, The Cure, whatever. But I think it's really springing across just a whole generation of individuals of, you shouldn't show your emotions because people are going to judge you. And that's like not even like about crying. That's about being happy. That's about being anything. Like being upset about something. It's the pinnacle of hiding every emotion. Because the ones that really get me is the ones where it's like, well, oh, my crush did this, but I have to stay nonchalant. If you, and I know that that's like a joke, whatever, like you're just making a funny little post, but there is like truth behind that. A lot of people feel like they have to be this constant stoic, you know, Greek god of just, I have to pretend like I have all this, you know, obtained knowledge and act like emotions do not, that they're below me. And that's just not the case. And if you really feel like you as a person cannot show happiness, cannot show vulnerability around people, and you have to constantly obtain this, you know, status of being this nonchalant, like above human being, you're probably not around the right group of people, whether it's a romantic interest, whether it's platonic friends, whatever it is, you are not around the right people. And it just, it really irks me. And I know I've already said that, but the amount of just posts, and like it went away for a while. Like I wasn't really seeing posts like this, but now as of late, it's like, oh, I gotta stay nonchalant because, you know, the huzz and like this and that. And it's like, I sound like it's literally old man yelling at cloud, and I'm not even 20 yet. But regardless of the fact, it's like people, and it's really in my age, it's like anytime you have like ambitions, or anytime you have a slight smile on your face because the sun was out or anything, it's like, well, what's this fucking dude smiling about? What's this dude happy about? Oh, this dude's dreaming big and he doesn't want to just be a bum his whole life. Okay. It's like, that's how I take nonchalantness, is like, it is like the vessel of being stagnant. You're constantly sitting there, and you it's the mysterious, like the mysterious anime caricature. I'm saying that word horribly, but regardless, that like, you know, mysterious anime, like, ooh, I'm like, nobody knows who I actually am. That like became mainstream, and instead of the mysterious anime character, it is now the nonchalant, like, you know, stoic, just nothing gets past me kind of thing. It's the same thing. It was theater kid bullshit, and now it's like popular like frat bro bullshit. And like anybody over the age of probably 12, you know, doesn't care about how nonchalant they are. And I understand, like, you have to kind of keep a face of like, not mystery, but a face of just unbotheredness while out in public, or just in general. Like, obviously you can't let any little thing get to you, but it's like, it specifically, like, for example, and I don't want to call out anybody in particular, but you can put names to the description I'm giving. A lot of the looks maxing community, of the people that, are rating looks and stuff like that, and they sit here and you look at them, most of them, their resting, like, face, or their just, default setting is this, like, I'm trying to mug the shit out of you kind of look. And they are this kind of, like, pinnacle of, we are the type of, and this is just talking about men, I guess, in particular, that we are the men you should be. And a lot of it is very detrimental, very just racist and misogynistic. Not that, like, not to sound like a woke asshole or anything, but a lot of the things that a lot of these looks maxers kind of preach aren't healthy in an adult setting. Many of them are childish, but regardless of the fact, they also preach this, just, you can't let anybody see your emotions. You can't let anybody know you're happy. You have to maintain this stature of just stone cold. And I know I'm talking in circles, but, like, people just don't see it. And I really think that it is a big, obviously, I'm not thinking, like, I'm not saying it's an Israeli psyop, and, like, it's stopping people from achieving their goals, and it's keeping people, it's keeping people under the surveillance and blah, blah, blah. But I do think that, in a degree, there is a huge push for this kind of, stature for people, because it does prohibit people from really speaking about who they are as a person. It stops people from having personality. Like, if you're always nonchalant, you're never going to talk about yourself, because you're trying to be mysterious. You're trying to kind of, it's a pissing contest of who can say the least amount about themselves. And I think that's unhealthy. Obviously, you shouldn't overshare. You shouldn't be like, hey, like, I have an ingrown, hair on my balls, and it's, like, really pussy. You shouldn't go around telling people that. But you having character and you being, animated is never a bad thing. And if people look at that as a bad thing, they're not your type of person. If they are making fun of you, bullying you, saying whatever, they are literally letting you know this is not the person you should be around. They are quite literally saving you the hassle. Even if you think that person's really cool and you want to be friends with them, if they are not accepting you for who you are, and you have to hide the fact that you are who you are, and you have to put this, like, statued face on, they're not, they're never going to be your friend. They're never going to truly be your friend, because you can't be you around them. At that point, you're not living, you're staying alive. And I know that's like way harsher and probably way more, like, overboard when it comes to that, but if all you're doing is constantly putting on a face, or lack of a face, I should say, when you're around people, because you're afraid of people judging you for who you really are, you will find your crowd. And maybe this whole nonchalant thing, it really irks me, because I was there at a time. Like, I think everybody's been there at a time in their life where they're like, oh, I don't fit in. And sometimes it's better to just not show who you are. But you will eventually find your crowd of people who accept you, and they're just like, oh yeah, that's, that's one nut Billy or whatever. Like, and they'll embrace that you only have one nut, or maybe you have three nuts. Who knows? But it's just, it's the worst thing I think I have possibly ever seen, because there are young, impressionable people, and especially in middle school. I think in middle school, kind of a lot of the things that you get into a habit of, they come and go, obviously, in your life, but a lot of those things in middle school stick with you. That's where a lot of people find out where, who they really are. And it comes down to, that's like the people that they see, oh, well, I have a romantic interest and I have to stay nonchalant. So I'm not going to tell this person my actual feelings because, I got to stay nonchalant. I'm just going to, hide my emotions. I'm going to always act stone cold. If they made my day, I'm still just going to have a straight face. No, they got to do X, Y, and Z. They got to come to me. And like, in a way, you shouldn't always chase people. And this goes for boys and girls. This is gender neutral. It's like, it's a pissing contest. It's a pissing contest of who can care less. And just the act of not caring, I don't know why we as a generation have gotten to this point, but where's the caring? When did it become uncool to care? It makes no sense to me. Like, I always, like, that is one of the most, like, admirable traits in a friend or in a romantic interest or whatever it is. That is like, oh, this person actually cares. This person has hobbies. This person has this person has that. They're not just some lobotomized retard who just walks around and tries to pretend like they're just a shell of something. And another thing I saw was like, it was this weird TikTok trend, and I don't even know what it truly even really means, but it's like tutorial how to get dead eyes, and it's like really like if I remember, I'll put a picture up on the screen, but basically it's like where you look like you're like, it's basically just like people who are insanely depressed. Like, those are the eyes that the people have. And it's like, when did like things that are like insanely horrible, like depression and like things that people really struggle with and people that will never be able to fully live life, become like cool? Like, everybody wants to have some like mental illness or whatever, and everybody wants to self-diagnose with something that isn't actually fun to have, because the people that actually have these like, illnesses hate that illness. And it's like, it's the thing of trying to fit in, but in the wrong way. Like, don't try to self-diagnose yourself with some mental illness. Obviously, if you feel like you're dealing with something, go get it checked out. But don't be like, oh, I have this, I have that. Oh, I want to get dead eyes because, like, the ladies find it attractive. It's like, the most attractive thing you can do is be yourself. Because, again, I'll go back and say it. If you live every day trying to live for other people, you're not living, you are staying alive. That is like the best way to describe it. You are literally surviving. You're not thriving. You're hanging on for dear life because you're not being you. And I guess that's what this whole video is about, is be you. At the end of the day, nobody cares what you do. Like, people are so like, if somebody does something embarrassing, like, think of all the embarrassing things somebody's done. Not you specifically, but embarrassing things people have done around you. You're not going to remember every time. You might remember a couple, but also you look back and it's like, who cares? Think about it in that way. If somebody finds something, if you find that you did something embarrassing and there's 10 people around, probably only 3 people of that are going to remember it, unless if it's like insanely embarrassing and maybe you deserved it. But that's, it's a hypothetical scenario. We're not actually, you know, we're looking on the bright side. But regardless, it's like out of 10 people, 3 people might remember it. And those 3 people are probably going to be like, well, I also did embarrassing shit. Unless they're just an asshole, then, again, you shouldn't be around those people. And at the end of the day, karma is insanely real. And if they're going to make fun of you for doing something embarrassing, more than likely, they're going to do something 10 times more as embarrassing and get to see your side of the story of, hey, maybe I shouldn't have made fun of that person. But regardless, nonchalantness, not good. Be yourself. Like, let your creativity flow. Just be whoever you want to be, and you will attract the right people. Because especially if you put on a face, whether it's being nonchalant or totally just being somebody that isn't you, you're going to attract people that think they like you and then realize this person isn't who they say they are. And you're not only going to hurt yourself, but you might hurt them too, because they might think, maybe I found somebody that maybe they're lonely and they're like, oh, I finally found somebody just like me. And if all you do is shape your personality after that person, and then they realize this dude's a fucking poser, then boom, like, they're hurt because, like, oh, this dude just fronted me. So it is just something that I wanted to get off my chest. I think that's about all I had to say with all this. I think this has went on for far too long. But yeah, if you want to hear me have more rants and shit, then yeah, let me know. I'll catch you guys in the next one.